since we're a couple minutes late. But we could always wait a minute or so.
All right, now for some reason, I do not have the schedule in my packet. That's not good.
What?
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up. Yeah, it didn't get into my packet. So all the stuff is here, but not
The agenda is missing?
the agenda didn't get included in my packet. Maybe it's still in that, but it's not. Not in the, oh, I take that back. Voila.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, very good. So yeah, we're missing Igor still. And Brandon is not coming today. Samantha, is that right? We're not sure.
Correct. He is in the audience though.
Okay. Well, I look forward to his
Say
attendance.
hello and welcome from afar.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and are we live? Good. Then I'll read the advisory. This meeting will be conducted. Welcome to the February 9th meeting of Berkeley's Zoning Adjustment Board. Everyone is here. I think we have one more meeting by Zoom, and then we're going to be meeting in person. So our penultimate Zoom meeting. But as it is a Zoom meeting, this meeting will be conducted exclusively through video conference and teleconference, pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E. In the state to declare emergency, this meeting of the Zoning Adjustments Board will be conducted exclusively through teleconference and Zoom video conference. The COVID-19 state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of the members to meet safely in person and presents imminent risks to the health of attendees. Therefore, no physical meeting location will be available today, though next month you can see us in person. So if you're joining by PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or Android, and you do not wish for your name to appear on the screen, you just use you'll have to actually, we've learned, sign off and come back on, and you'll have a chance to rename yourself as anonymous, which is perfectly acceptable. If you're on any of those devices, there will be moments during tonight's meeting when you will have an opportunity to speak in the public hearing. And when those opportunities arise, if you wish to speak, you should use the raise hand icon that you'll find at the bottom by rolling your cursor over the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in by phone, you'll need to press *9, and sure enough, a little hand will pop up, and I'll be able to recognize you at the appropriate moment. I'll let you know when those moments arrive so that you don't have to be concerned that your opportunity will be missed to add your contribution tonight. Please be mindful that this teleconference will be recorded, as all our meetings are, whether they are in person or by Zoom, and all the rules of procedure and decorum still apply whether on Zoom or in person. That is the required reading. We do need to respect each other's time. Very important. Everyone is here. It's not fair to people who are presenting later in the evening for us to take unnecessary time on a hearing. And for that reason, I do like to keep a structured environment. So when we do hear an item, I'll want everyone to raise their hand who is interested in speaking on that item, so I can do a head count. And we do have time limits that are applied to both the presenters as well as anyone from the public who's speaking. And the members of this commission also try to keep our comments to the point rather than going on and on, as happens in many commissions around the country. So with that all said, we can get started. And the first thing is roll call.
Thank you. When I call your name, please indicate if you are present and if you have any ex parte. Commissioner Trigu,
Present, no ex parte.
Duffy,
No ex parte.
and you're present.
Present.
He
Gaffney,
is no ex parte, therefore he is present.
Present, no ex parte.
Thompson,
Present, no ex parte.
Lunapara,
Present, no ex parte.
Vice Chair O'Keefe,
Present, no ex parte. And I just want to say, I'm sorry, I have my camera off. I'm actually just still finishing dinner for my kids and I'll be turning it on in a few minutes, but I am present and listening in the meeting.
Thank you, Shoshana.
Chair Khan,
Present and no ex parte.
and Young is absent and Sanderson is absent.
Right. Okay, very good. Now we come to the section of the meeting where we invite members of the public who are here tonight to speak on non-agenda matters. This actually applies to this commission too, if there's anyone on this commission who wishes to speak on a non-agenda matter. But it is an opportunity for the public to speak on concerns you may have that are not agended tonight. So if you're an attendee tonight and you wish to speak on something that is not going to be reviewed this evening, but a matter of general interest regarding land use policy, the zoning board, this is your big chance. I don't see any hands up. There we have Kelly. I was looking for you, Kelly. And Kelly seems to be the only person who wishes to speak, so you are recognized.
Thank you. I'll just make it quick to that I hope we all still care about bird safe glass and native plants. And I wrote in my activist diary about a book I read recently. It's not an easy read, but I think it's an important read. It's on the environment and it's called Homo Ecophagus, the man who eats the ecosystems, and by Warren Hearn, a physician, anthropologist, and epidemiologist. And it's actually very, very interesting, and he's led an interesting life. So it is quite an interesting book, but you do have to buy it. It's not at our libraries. So that's it. And I have comments for 2 of the projects later. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. We look forward to hearing those comments. And thanks for keeping it brief. I appreciate that, Kelly. This brings us to approval of the action minutes from December 8th and January 12th. I don't recall the specific reason we didn't approve those last time, but they're both on our consent calendar, along with Hayes Street, 2506 Hayes Street, 1341 Addison Street. And before we go to the public, I just want to ask if any commissioner here has questions about those projects, concerns, or the desire to pull one of those items from the consent calendar. Igor.
I actually, thank you, Chair. I wanted to see if there, maybe this is a question through the chair for staff as to the reason item 5, which is 0, also known as 919 Camellia, ended up on the action calendar, and would be open to moving it to consent when appropriate, or if there
No,
are.
that I appreciate this. This would be the time to move it to consent, and I think that's a question I also had, Igor. So I thank you for the question. Samantha, do you recall, or do you know, or we need to talk to Nilu to find out why item 5 Camellia Street was not on consent? I think it may have been that staff wanted to know if we were still moving forward with our consistently with the policy from the last time, we had a duplex that wanted two spaces instead of one. I'm fine with it, but I think they just wanted confirmation that we were still on board with that as a policy. Is
That's
that right,
the
Samantha?
Addison Street project. Is the duplex. That one is on.
Oh, okay.
consent.
That is on consent. Okay, what's Camellia? Why is that on?
Camellia
not
is
on
the
mine.
live work, are the 3
Mhm.
live work units on the vacant lot in the Muley.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on consent. I mean, it's on the action. Staff put it on the action calendar, in case ZAB wanted to discuss it at all. We haven't seen a lot of live work projects.
Have you had, has
and-
there been any concern expressed by the community about the project?
No.
Okay. Igor, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to move it to consent, I'll second that motion.
Yeah, and perhaps we should also ask members of the public, but
Correct. I will be doing that before we
Andy.
before we take that action.
I knew you would. I do have 3 questions on the project, but they're just questions.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I will, if what is required is a motion, I will move that we place Project 0, also known as 919 Camellia Street, on the consent calendar.
That would be great if that could happen. I do see that Kelly has her hand up. Kelly, I'd also like to invite anyone else from the public who has questions about anything on the consent to have an opportunity, or if you wish to have it hold for a public hearing, to have an opportunity to say so. So Kelly, I'm recognizing you.
Okay, thank you. On the Addison project, it looks like all of those windows are double hung windows from the drawings.
Mhm.
And they can make those windows bird safe by just having full screens on the windows and not taking off those full screens. So I don't want to stop the project. I would just ask that you make that request. It's such a simple thing to do. And, you know, it's healthier for the people living there to have screens over their windows. So that would be a wonderful thing for that project. So
Thank you. I will make that request for the record right now. That's a very low cost. In fact, it's hard not to get double hung windows these days without screens. You have to actually remove them.
Right.
So
And-
that's a wonderful idea.
And then I wanted to comment on the other project, the Camellia project. Looking at that project, none of those windows are going to be bird safe. And so I would really ask that this state that they look at doing something different with their windows so that they could be made bird safe. I mean, there's always the option of putting a film on the outside of the glass, but maybe they would like to consider double hung windows in place of what they've got. And
Yeah, that certainly can be done without this having to come back to the zoning board. That can be handled at staff level. And I would encourage the film or the double hung windows.
right. And yeah, and otherwise, I mean, I didn't want to do anything to stop the projects. I just would ask that if they make those alterations, which they can do easily, then it would really be a wonderful contribution to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anything else, Kelly?
No, that really covers my comments on these projects.
Great. Thanks. I see Todd wants to speak. Should I give him a chance to say something? Yes, he may be the architect for one of these projects. Todd Jersey.
He's the
Or-
architect on Camellia Street.
Yeah. Should I give him? Do you need to say something? Yes, before I recognize.
Well,
him?
I feel like he's going to say that he already put bird safe glass in the building in the plans, and it's already in the plans. There's a whole
Oh.
section on bird safety measures. So
Wonderful.
kudos to the applicant.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And he just took his hand down. So you're a mind reader. So yeah, Kelly, that's great. This is, I think, directly a result of your efforts that we're starting to see projects voluntarily taking these measures. So thank you so much. That's great. Great news, yes. Okay, and then I have one more member of the public who wants to be recognized. Lindsay.
Hi, I'd like to speak about the Addison Street project. I think, infill development is generally a good thing in Berkeley, and I like our neighbors, our next door neighbors who are planning this project. I just wanted to put a couple concerns on the record as a homeowner who's going to be directly impacted by this project. It looks like we're set to lose a significant amount of sunlight, which, we're in the process of putting in solar panels. So I think that's likely to lead to some financial loss. And I'm also concerned about our economic use of the property as someone who works from home and will likely have my work significantly disrupted by the construction noise for an extended period of time. So just wanted to put those concerns on the record.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Lindsay, but you're not feeling the need to pull it from consent as long as your notes are now officially on the record. They will be part of the transcript of this hearing and will be recorded in the public record as long as there is one. So thank you for those comments. Do you have anything else you wish to say, or are you satisfied?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for coming tonight. I don't see it. Just so everyone's aware, we currently have a motion to proceed with approval of 2506 Hayes Street, 1341 Addison Street, and 919 Camellia Street. They will be approved by consent here in another minute, unless a member of the public does feel the need to pull one of those items from consent calendar. I don't see anyone else raising their hand. So Igor.
Thank you. And I guess so my motion will, I will restate it to approve the consent calendar with the recommendations on Camellia as noted.
You just lost you, Igor.
I do, pending a second, I just had 3 questions that, if possible, I'd like to ask of staff. Oops.
Yeah, restate your motion again. We missed part of it because you had a glitch in your Zoom.
Apologies. The motion is to approve both sets of minutes, December 8, 2022, January 12, 2023. Item 3, which is 2506 Hayes Street. Item 4, 1341 Addison Street. Item 5, 0, also known as 919 Camellia Street, with the recommendations from Kelly, which may have already been addressed. I do have some questions on the Camellia project for staff.
Very good. Before we vote, I'll give you an opportunity to ask those questions. Yes, did you want to provide a second, or?
I have a question for staff too about 919 Camellia.
Okay, Igor, why don't you proceed with your questions first as the maker of the motion, and then yes, I'll go to you.
Was there a second on the motion before?
I'm happy to second it.
Okay. So I think these are quick. There was mention in the staff report of a condition of approval requiring that applicants, tenants, and all persons purchasing live-work units to sign and record such a statement with the county recorder office. I probably just missed it. Staff, if you could point me to the right condition for that. I had a question about just kind of in general for condition 17 for non-residential EV charging, that says at least 10% of the project parking spaces will be level 2. another 40%, or at least 40% will be EV capable. And I was curious, with 3 parking spaces, does that round up? Other, like 10% of 3 would be 0.3. So I wanted to see if that rounds up to 1 space. And finally, that is an area that, to my knowledge right now, does not have residential permit parking. So if you could just state for clarity if condition 51 will apply, should in the future that block receive RPP or residential permit parking. Those are my questions, but I just, as a near neighbor to there, though within, far enough that I can vote on this, I am just so excited for this long-time PG&E owned vacant lot to be something that is live work. Over the moon about that.
I can answer the questions on the conditions.
Thank you.
The condition related to the tenant. Oh wait, you were asking about the tenant notification?
It's the recordation. So I found the tenant notification condition. I did not see.
Okay, let me dig. I will have to dig a little more. For that.
I think that condition actually is condition number 8 on page 4 of 18 in the findings.
Number 8 on page 4, you said, Claudia?
Of the findings and conditions. Okay, if I understand the question correctly.
That would be permit revocation. Please, that's what I have on my page. Just, I guess I can amend my motion to include that condition, which has been represented in the staff report, if it's not already included.
Okay, sounds good. That's a good workaround. I'll second that.
As far as the EV charging, that's a building code, not a land use code. So they'll be required to comply with building code. And we're not really in a position where I think we can interpret that. So I have to defer to our building reviewers on that one. And then for RPP, those restrictions, again, it's so funny because it's also not in the land use code. It's in a different code section, but RPP will be restricted for residential or non-residential. Should it come in the future?
Should it come in the future? I think.
Yeah.
That was the question. Yeah. Great. Thanks for those answers, Samantha.
Yes, and I will find, I'm almost positive that statement is in here. In the conditions. So we will keep looking for that.
Well, fortunately, Igor did provide a workaround in the motion, so we're covered. Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think Nilu noted that it should be on 14.g. So I think it's there somewhere. If not, we will amend it for Commissioner Trigu.
Thank you. Now, yes.
Well, I just want to say, I too am excited to see more live work in this area. I think it's important. And so it's great to see it. I'm going to wait to ask my question until after the vote, because it's not going to impact.
Very good.
Process.
Thank you. Then let's call the vote.
I do have a question of clarification. The conditions related to bird safe glass, was that for 1341?
That's a recommendation. It's not a requirement.
Okay, and was that for 1341 Addison or Camellia Street? Because I think the
projects specifically referenced by Kelly, which were both camellia, in which case I believe Jess pointed out they already have bird
Right.
safe glass. And for 1341 Addison, the recommendation that they have screens and that they keep them on the windows. Typically double hung windows do come with screens, and it helps the birds know that that's a no-no.
Commissioner Tregub, is that correct?
Yeah, that was my intention to.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, just for camellia. And Samantha, while I still have the floor, I would be curious if it's possible to get an update at the next meeting, if there is an update from the building department. I'm just curious how EV charging infrastructure is counted with respect to the number of spaces, and specifically, does it round up or down?
Happy to do that.
Sounds good, Igor. If we can find that out, I'll let you know too, because it's a good question. All right, very good. I think then we're cleared for a vote, and then Yes has a question after the vote.
Okay. So this is to approve items numbers 1 through 5 on consent, the action minutes from December 8th, 2022, the approval of the action minutes from January 12th, 2023, 2506 Haste, 1341 Addison, with a recommendation for screens on the windows. And 919 Camellia Street with recommendations for double hung windows with screens.
Or other bird safe glass measures,
Or other bird safe glass measures.
which apparently are part of the plans, according to Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Tregub,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Gaffney,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Lunaparo,
Yes.
O'Keefe,
Yes.
Chairperson Khan.
Yes.
Okay, and Young and Sanderson are absent.
So it passes with 7 votes. That's unanimous for all members attending tonight. And that's great. And I really appreciate the focus of tonight's meeting. That was great. We're not done yet. Yes,
Sorry, I'm going to blur the focus real quick.
you do that. Go for it.
Well, I should know the answer to this, but maybe it's just because we haven't seen a lot of live work. Why is live work not a HAA project? And maybe I could look this up on my own, but is there a simple answer?
I have my conjectural answer, but Samantha may have an actual answer.
Sure, doesn't meet the definition of a housing development project, which is residential uses only, mixed use with 2/3 residential, and I think supportive or transitional housing. And so live work is considered a commercial use.
Okay, thanks.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
Doesn't seem right,
I know.
but thank you,
I
Samantha.
agree with you.
Yeah, and I think things have been changing too, because like live work units are starting to count, like in housing count. So there may be more.
People are
change
sleeping
coming.
there. I mean, it's for heads, So yeah, I think it's time that the state and possibly the city started rethinking how we treat those. For example, it doesn't count. I don't believe it counts towards our housing element.
I think it does now.
Oh, it does. Okay, very
Yeah, I
good.
think that's changed in the last year or two.
I mean, the bigger question in my mind, yes, is why we can't have housing in Muley, as long as the other objectives of Muley are being met. But that's a separate discussion, not for this body. Very good. Then we do have some other housekeeping that we need to do tonight before we can adjourn and let you go back to your families or your good book, whatever you're looking forward to. We have subcommittee reports. I don't think we have anything, Kimberly, do we, from design review? We have.
Yeah, I pulled it up. It looks like, well, it was 3031 Adeline, which was the one where they did like a really good job. It's 5 stories and they did a really good job of kind of articulating the facade. And so that's kind of a lovely project to go look at if anyone's interested. And then we also had 3000 Shattuck, which is a new 10-story building over on the corner of Ashby and Shattuck that we'll be seeing again. That one wasn't as dynamic with kind of the designs, but you know, exciting to see some big projects going up over in that area.
Thanks for that report, Kimberly. Yeah, we did. It was interesting. We had two projects we saw. One actually went from 5 to 6 stories. Addressed the height, we thought very effectively. The other one, a very capable architect, but in this rendition, less effective in dealing with the height issue. So we actually asked them to come back, and despite concerns about number of meetings and so forth, to address that.
Cool projects. Definitely recommend checking them out.
What was the first address? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it was 3031 Adeline.
Yeah, quite a lovely project from a design standpoint. It was our second time reviewing it because it was modified. So we come to staff communications, and we will be electing a chair and vice chair at the next meeting. Our policy, or our practice at least, has been to make nominations at that time. So if you have particular people that you would like to consider for the chair position, or if you're interested in the chair position, you might ask someone to nominate you. You'll have an opportunity between now and the 23rd to exercise that interest. So think about it. And I will be reluctantly relinquishing the chair. I've certainly enjoyed being your chair for 2 years now, and but I feel we have a great commission here, and any one of you would do a great job in that chair. So look forward to seeing who it's going to be. And anything else, Samantha? And also vice chair.
Yes. So we provided 2 memos regarding the return to in-person meetings. One was from the city clerk's office. So I think, as Chair Khan mentioned earlier, that the state of emergency will be lifted in California on February 28th, or we think it will be. So I guess anything could happen.
Sure hope it will be.
Anything could happen, but that so far is the plan. And so we'll
the Omega strain comes roaring through, and we all get sick again. I didn't say that.
It's the bird flu. The bird flu is going to get us.
So the city clerk's office issued a memo, and in the memo they state that the Berkeley doesn't have hybrid capabilities at this time. However, since we meet at the Berkeley Unified School District boardroom, we do have hybrid capabilities. So then we attached our own memo to the memo, just to reiterate that the ZAB, for ZAB hearings, the public may participate remotely or in person. All the commissioners are required to be present under the Brown Act. And I did attach the guidance from our commissioners manual. I think that clarifies the city's policy that says teleconferencing by commissioners is not permitted for requests based on travel, vacation, work conflict, or any other unforeseen situation. Teleconferencing by commissioners is only permitted when provided as a reasonable accommodation under the ADA. So anyway, just wanted to share that again, and also just reiterate that it's really exciting that we'll be able to have participation, that we'll be able to do the hybrid mode. I think that's really awesome for the public. And As part of that, though, we're hoping that the chair or vice chair will be able to bring a laptop to the meetings, because we'll sort of be a team also running those hybrid meetings. We're also looking into whether or not we can provide a laptop as part of it.
So this
for
only
the
applies.
meetings, but it may. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
So Shoshana, this only applies to you and me for the next meeting. If you can bring a laptop, and the reason would be if for any reason I can't perform my duties and you have to step in, you will need your laptop to recognize anybody that is coming in digitally.
I can bring it, but I think the city of Berkeley should provide a laptop.
Yeah, it's our hope.
That seems like what should happen, but I do have one and can bring it.
We're arranging for a rental fee for you and my laptop. No. No, I agree.
Yeah, no, we are trying. We also have the secretary and the clerks also need laptops to run it. So we're gonna figure that out. But I just wanted to put it out there.
If the city doesn't have an extra laptop, then they need to raise taxes so that they can afford one.
Yeah, there's a lot of supply chain issues. There's a lot of supply chain issues with laptops right now. So but we're doing the best we can. And that's everything. Yeah, that's everything I have.
Okay, great, Samantha.
Thank you.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. Have a good 2 weeks. Enjoy what I hope will be beautiful weather. We've had a gorgeous day yesterday and today. So it's nice to be in the Berkeley spring and just luxuriate in something we really don't deserve. I mean, speaking for myself. Anyway, I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. So Kimberly, before we go, and Igor.
We have to vote to adjourn the meeting.
We sure do. Oh, is that a motion, Kimberly?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Also, wait, just to clarify, are we going in 2 weeks? I thought it was starting in March, and the next one was
we're gonna be online in 2 weeks. We'll be back in the same Hollywood Squares scenario.
Okay, so I was like, oh wait, hold on. Okay, we don't need. Okay, perfect. And yes, I motion to adjourn the meeting as well.
Thank you, Igor.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if we could adjourn the meeting in memory of Susan Felix Yuhan, who unfortunately left us earlier this month. And I normally don't do this for ZAB adjournments, but I wanted to do it because not only was she a world famous ceramist, or I think that's the proper pronunciation of the word, in Berkeley, but she was such a champion of housing for artists, specifically affordable housing, or housing priced at such rents that artists can afford, and has attended commission meetings. Not sure if she ever attended a ZAB meeting, but she certainly has attended other meetings that I have been a part of around that issue. And I think it would be appropriate to adjourn in her memory.
Thank you, Igor, for the thoughtful comments. Is that acceptable to Kimberly as the maker of the motion? I see a nod.
Yes, indeed.
Very good.
I accept that.
Okay, well then, in her memory, we'll adjourn in honor of her memory and her contributions to our community. Samantha, will you take the vote?
Yes. Commissioner Trigu?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Daphne?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Luna Para?
Yes.
Vice Chair O'Keefe?
Yes.
Chair Khan?
Yes.
Oh no, hold on, my list cut off. And then Commissioners Young and Sanderson are absent.
Correct. So I believe the vote is unanimous for adjournment. Everyone enjoy the rest of your evening and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And
Bye,
Commissioner
everyone.
Trigu, can you
Thank
just
you.
tell me the person's name again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it all.
Yeah, it's Susan Duhan, Duhan, Felix, Felix.
Great,
She does
thank
have a
you.
Wikipedia page.
Very good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. Have a
Eva.
great night, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Good night.
Right.